are you? Did you go to the park today? Did you see new friends? What did you do? What are you doing? Hi. Oh my goodness, you look so pretty today. Well, I say that anyway.
Oh my God. Welcome to Unconditional. I am very excited. This episode has been a long time coming. I have my dearest friend, my partner on TV of a very long time, and my co-host on our other podcast, The Psychologists Are In, on today, Timothy Omundson, to tell all of his doggy stories. But we're actually going to not break this episode up into two, but there is going to be another episode because there has to be, because the stories were so beautiful. And I have to warn you, this is the most emotional episode we've done. And please have the Kleenex ready and please enjoy. Tim, before we get started today, we wanted to do we wanted to just take a moment to acknowledge and send our love and prayers, and I mean, I don't even know what words you can say right now for the victims of the flood in Texas
And everyone associated with them at all.
and everyone associated with them and their families and the people. It's just we were talking about doing this episode today, and we wanted to just send whatever we can, send whatever love we can, help we can, and support.
I mean, yes. I mean, the episode 100%. The episode we're about to talk about right now does kind of fit because we talk about undying love
Mm.
and
Yeah.
just the power that love holds in all of our lives and in this universe, and just acknowledge the love that's out there from everyone in the world, and of course the country that's being focused on Texas and everyone affected by this horrific natural disaster.
Yeah.
And it's all about love, and we just want to send our love to them and to you,
And keep everyone in our thoughts. We are sending our love and everything we can in that direction. So, okay. And here's our episode. And I'm so excited that I'm doing Unconditional. I'm doing it with you, but I'm also like really bummed we're not like sitting in a studio with martinis right now.
Me too. Well, first of all, hi Maggie.
Hi Tim.
I feel like I'm gonna do something a little different because it's not the Psychologist. It's not good if somebody just different.
Well, it's actually both. We're gonna air it on both. So this is a crossover mashup, all of it. So yeah. So we can still do Hi Maggie. Hi Tim.
I'm gonna do it in my dog voice.
OMG. Here is Timothy Omundson, and here is his dog voice.
Hi Maggie. Who are you? Did you go to the park today? Did you see new friends? What did you do? What are you doing? Hi. Oh my goodness, you look so pretty today. Well, I say that anyway.
Oh my God. Okay, wait. So if I'm Mabel and you've just come home and I'm like, oh, Dad, what do you say?
Hi, how are you? Did you go to the park? Did you have fun with your friends? What'd you do?
That's also, so then, cute.
Rah-rah-boo, rah-rah-boo. Well, that's every morning and every night. When she's cuddling up to me, we basically make out every night before I go to sleep, and every morning when I wake up. Rah-rah-boo, which is basically just my Scooby voice. Because she speaks
Scooby voice saying "I love you, I love you."
Rah-rah-boo.
Oh my God, I love it. Oh my God, Tim. Hi, Tim.
Hi, Maggie. So, gal who started her very first episode of Boston Blue Ocean shot for 16 hours and shot a little bit this morning, but you're such a freaking pro that you still are you still made time for our podcast, our tag extravaganza.
Oh my
He's
gosh, of course. I've been looking so forward to this. And I haven't we had banked some episodes on Unconditional, so I actually haven't done a new episode of Unconditional in a while. And um we were saving this one with you, Tim. Oh, that sounds better. We were saving this one for when we could be in studio or in my studio that I had just put together in LA.
got a job. I had
uh
to sit down.
and then I left. Um and now we can't do that, but I think it's important. I think this episode is important and we're going to do it. And you know what? We can do another one in person. We can do whatever we
Yes,
want.
because I was thinking this. I mean, I could talk about my dogs for a good 4 hours,
Mhm.
which I'm not,
Mhm.
but I
Me
think
too.
we might have to break this one up into two and then have a follow up. And speaking of follow ups, following up on the Beard Extravaganza podcast from the other day. I have a trick for you.
Oh no. Oh wow. Tim, have you been working on that since the other night?
Well, I needed to find something lighter than my glasses. Here's why my glasses didn't hang in my beard, which is a good reason. Because my beard
This
was
is
clean.
not
But it just
okay. Wait, did it fall out?
fell out.
Don't hurt yourself.
No, but yeah, so because my beard's actually clean, it wasn't and when I brush it, I have to untangle the whiskers, but it is getting to the point where like if my left hand worked, I could be braiding my beard like a Viking.
Oh, Tim, your braided beard. I don't know. I think it's more interesting to just store things in it and
Well,
make
now
it
that
like a
it's this long, I can make it in like these little dreadlocks, and it becomes very like a Greek bust.
aren't you like, oh my God. Oh my God. You're like the guy, like when people put pencil behind your ear, or which look, we don't condone smoking here, but uh how how cool it was to have like a cigarette behind your ear. Um you
Yeah,
could put a
if you
cigarette in your
remember
beard.
Cast the Outsiders.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Or the pack, yeah, and the arm and
Yeah,
the sleeve rolled up.
that was just yeah. If I did have one
You,
here, I could definitely hide one in there.
you could just do, you could do that with your beard. Okay.
If I
I love
were
it.
if I were pulled over by let's say a officer of the law or
Yes.
through TSA and needed and
Here.
was searched, they would like they would make me go through my beard to make sure I wasn't smuggling fentanyl in there or something else.
That's true. That's
Okay.
true. Has anyone ever been like detained for their facial hairs?
Well, if
And
it would
because
be, it
of,
would be me. It would definitely
I
be me.
mean, yeah,
I'm gonna take
like
it because this looks
you
insane.
wouldn't be allowed to come visit me in Toronto right now because they would be like, sorry, Toronto right
Trump,
now.
this
They
guy
would
wants
be like, yeah, they would be like, no, sir, we have to x-ray your beard. Can you take it
you,
off?
Zeus, step out of line.
Okay, let's talk dogs.
Okay, let's talk dogs.
Okay, well, let's talk about, because I agree with you, this could be a multi-part episode. So what I would like to do is say, like, what do you, if this is your first episode of Unconditional, what feels the most important for you to cover first? Or do you want
um,
to do an overview? Because we've got Mabel, Lucy, Betty, Sally, and also, yeah,
now Mabel.
Mabel.
Hi, how are you? What are you doing today? God, let me think. Okay. What you as the hostess, what do you
Hmm.
do? Way to go.
So,
Because
like, Tim, you and I have bonded over our love of dogs. That is one of the initial, like, when we moved to Canada and started Psych, I had my dog, you had your dogs. Like, we learned very early on, we had a very special bond, as most people do, with our dogs. But ours was, and it's something that I think bonded us as well.
absolutely,
Um,
it's a pillar of our friendship.
Pillar of our friendship, 1000%. Our dogs, like, even Tim will say, "Are you bringing my nephew over?" Like, anytime we're doing a visit or a hang or anything like that. So, why don't we start with that? Why don't we start with, like, how we met? I met you with you had Betty and Sally.
I had both Betty and Sally. So let me
So
okay,
how
and
did Betty and Sally come into your life? Yeah.
a little background on me and dogs.
There you
As
go. So that's the next thing I say usually is like, let's start at the beginning. Have you always had dogs?
so me as a little kid, I we grew up. We had a dog that arrived before me.
Mm.
So she was, Pokey was really more my sibling's dog.
Mhm.
It was a she was a little terrier, a little pudgy little terrier mix that
Her name was
I loved
Pokey?
Poggy
Oh,
with
Pogie. Okay.
with and I loved her right from get go. But I was a kid who was I was like, kid who was always sick. I had allergies, so I was allergic to dogs,
Mhm.
or so they said. So it was so I was good. We my parents were a generation where dogs were not in the house.
Mhm.
It wasn't a
Yeah,
thing. So
that's common.
it's an
Yeah,
outside
they're
dog,
older.
and I always wanted this dog in my bed. My mom would never let me have her in the bed because I was allergic. So, I made a vow at that point. I was like, "When I'm older, I don't care. I'm getting a dog, and that dog is sleeping in the bed with me." So,
Aw.
so met okay, back to Betty and Sally. So,
Well, wait, hold on. I gotta know more about this allergy that you were like, because I had an allergy. Was it not a real allergy?
oh, I'm sure it was an allergy, but I think
Okay.
yeah, I was allergic to everything as a kid, like mold, dust, chocolate, or again. So it was just that's neither here nor there. Point is, my mom wouldn't let me have the dog in my room, or let alone in bed with me,
Mhm.
and she was
Mhm.
rarely in the house.
Mhm.
And also growing up in Seattle, she was an outdoor dog, so she was damp a lot.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, it's crazy now to think like so. She would sleep in the garage, which but my dad would put a an electric radiator in there, so she still was warm. But
Oh my god, that's very sweet. He was like, "She's not coming in the house, but she's also not gonna freeze."
yeah, and be drenched
Aw.
with drizzle
Right,
and
right.
so cut to I'm an adult. I'm now Allison and I are now living together, and
Mhm.
I think we were engaged at that point. So it's like, okay, now it's time to like as many couples, let's take this next step. Let's get a being to take care of. And I had the name chosen before I even had the dog. This was Betty, and I was like, I want a dog named Betty because it we always choose or it turns out we always choose little lady names. So I would go to the Burbank Pound, and I would literally go cage to cage, just and look down and go like, "Are you Betty? Are you Betty?" And one day, like I see her, and it's Betty, who was this little white Jack Russell Terrier mix
Oh.
that was a it was there was a sign the day when oh, and so I go up to the person at the counter, I'm like, "I'm interested in this dog," and they're like, "Oh, yeah, so is everybody else," because she was this beautiful, adorable little white, like, 8 months old, all white, 1 brown ear that folded, and, so, like, a lot of people are eyeing that dog, so you better make sure you're here on the day she's available. So I tell Alice, I'm like, "I think I found Betty." Went for the day
Mm.
when I take her and they let her out of the pen, and I'm sitting outside in the yard, in the sort of the play yard, and this dog bursts out of the door like a bat out of hell, full of energy, and and I was like, it should have been a harbinger of just what a personality she was. So
Yeah.
I it was Allison's birthday. I surprised her for her birthday, like brand new dog bed, big gold satin bow on this beautiful puppy,
No.
and like it's immediate love. And I take her to the vet for the first time, and this vet who I'd never met before, she barked at me, she, like, growled and made, like, a little nip at him,
Uh,
and the son of a bitch made a comment of saying, "Oh, maybe that's why she was abandoned." I wanted to freaking punch this guy,
mm,
I'd had the dog for a month, like, "Alright, this is my baby you're talking shit about."
yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, right?
I just and I stopped seeing that vet because I was so pissed off at him. It turns out, probably not wrong, so I have her intake papers from the, Burbank Pound, and the address of where she was found, some house from Burbank, and I always meant to write this these people a letter and say, "Thank you for doing the right thing and taking this dog to the pound so I could then bring her into my life. So, we would cut to Alice and I are living in a house, this crazy house, beautiful house in Laurel Canyon, which is really fun. Like if you know Laurel Canyon, it's like this. It was this 1920s ramshackle, crazy, like not a good doghouse, like no yard,
Mhm.
and so and then we eventually moved to this apartment up in the hills, Laurel Canyon, and so I would take Betty to the dog park, to Laurel Canyon Dog Park every day, and it was my thing. So that's when Betty met Sally.
Oh, when Betty met Sally.
She was playing with this little brown dog, Sally, about the same size as her,
Yeah.
and they immediately getting along. And she had her Sally's mom said, "Well, she's up for I'm fostering her." I was like, "Really?"
Interesting.
Come home, it's like, "Hey, honey, guess what? I think Betty needs a little sister." And how much more difficult could it be? So it was Easter time, and we make arrangements to go have a visit with Sally at a park in Van Nuys, and this woman was not messing around. She had like a Easter basket full of like dog shaped, like Easter appropriate dog, like an Easter egg dog treat, like, and so like all Easter treats. So like it was so Allison meets Sally, who was just this little love bug with a big knock out of her ear, and so she'd obviously seen some of those
Mm.
things. Bring them home, and it was so much more work having two than we ever could have possibly imagined.
Oh, no, they usually say, like, "Get the second one because it'll help."
It did not,
Like,
and because we're in this
oh,
apartment, and so Betty was, as much as I love her, was a barker,
okay.
and they both had like an aggressive streak. And we had this sliding glass door on our street, so like anybody walking by, they would just like go after the door and just bark their heads off.
Oh, dear. Uh-huh.
In the car, any person walking their dog, they would go
Mhm.
berserk.
Mhm.
So they were kind of untrained, which was my fault. And I would, but still, it was a daily dog park, Lower Canyon dog park thing for me, which I loved. Still have
That
friends,
dog park is a good dog park, by the way.
from that dog park to this day.
Yeah.
But
It's
it
very
just,
social.
yeah, so it became my life of going to the dog
Mhm.
park, these girls every
Mhm.
day. And
Mhm.
in this apartment building, there was another. There was an the people who lived below us had this big chocolate lab, so I would take Gracie to the dog park as well, and it would be the three of them. But so she, yeah, they were aggressive and barky, and our neighbors hated us. Our other neighbor, not Gracie's mom and dad, but and it's the canyon, so it's echoing through the canyon. My next door
Yeah.
neighbor had, who like worked from home, and he was not down with my barky dog
Right.
to the
Right.
point where, and I didn't know what to do. So, and because I was a dumb early dog owner, and like we tried shock collars, which I would never imagine doing this now to this day. Tried citronella collars, and my upstairs neighbor said, "Your dog is so smart." I would hear her bark. She would wait a certain amount of time between, and then when enough time went through, so the thing would reset, that she would bark again.
Uh,
So, just Betty, and then we moved around with Betty again. She moved to our other house in Burbank, and she became a stay, and both dogs were with us. And the next door neighbor was this woman who turns out was deaf, so it was kind of the perfect situation. But
oh, wow.
Betty,
Really?
Betty was.
Fascinating.
They were both sweet as could be, but and then Betty especially, like Betty was the sleeps in the bed next to me dog, and she would be at
Yeah.
the she would I'd wake up in the morning, I'd hear a little growl, and she'd actually ask permission to like get up in the bed with me.
Oh.
And out of our wedding, one of my favorite pictures from our wedding that Laura Parzak, who took, is
Oh,
a this
yeah.
was
That's right.
portrait of Betty that was just the most beautiful, and her my sister-in-law made her this like black velvet Victorian collar.
Hmm.
So the picture that still is in our bed. There's a picture of a baby picture of Lily, and right next to that is a puppy picture of Betty.
Yeah.
So Betty just well, I'm trying to wrap this up because like I said, I could talk for 4 hours.
So just keep talking. I wanna hear this because, like, that's how I met you. I met, you know I didn't see the Barker in them. I didn't see all of that. I just like saw your love and their love of you. Oh my God, they loved you so much. Those dogs loved you so much.
So, just prior to going for psych,
Mm,
uh, Betty was diagnosed with lymphoma. So we started her treatment there. So moved to Vancouver, find a vet you know very well, Granville Island vet, where they started
yep,
treating her for
they're great.
lymphoma.
Mhm.
And I mean, I remember seeing visiting Franck in that vet when he was
Yeah, when he had bloat.
yeah, I just went I remember going and like hanging out with Franck at that vet. So I was
That's so
thinking,
nice. I remember when you did that, you went and saw him because that's right. I remember that. Oh, Tim, that was so nice.
well,
Yeah,
it was
Tristan was there. They all been there.
he was
Yeah,
very
okay. So Betty
so
was at Granville,
treating
right?
for lymphoma, and I thought I
Yeah.
literally thought, well, it's Canada, maybe drugs will be cheaper. Nope.
Yeah.
They treated her over a summer. She was home, and then eventually in this home, and the girls were young enough now to know them. But, eventually, the lymphoma just took over, and we couldn't do anything about it, and she just got older, and I remember, the day she passed or the prior to it, like, getting ready for her passing, like, we knew it was her time, and, I, like, the day we knew we were gonna do it, and our vet I know I took her to our vet, and, they did it there, and she, went in my lap. So I remember, like, I'm looking out right now in my backyard, the spot where she used to lay in the backyard.
Mhm.
So, but, I remember sitting, I have this photo of her in the back of the SUV and me just, like, nuzzling her the day she was, like, pretty much ready to go, and I remember, like, having her in my lap at the vet and just looking at her and just communing with her and just saying, like, "I will find you."
Wow.
I'm gonna start to go,
Yeah.
and I'm going.
Yeah. You will find her though.
I think I did. Sorry,
Yeah.
I woke up really early this morning as we were texting, like, so I've been thinking about these stories all day, and, like, I did not
Yeah.
think it was gonna get me, but just
Yeah.
looking at the dog just going,
It's hard. It's impossible. I was just talking to someone about peanut earlier today. If it makes you feel any better, and I was like, "Oh my God, I cannot believe I'm standing here." I was in makeup, and I was like, I gotta, I gotta stop talking about this because my mascara is gonna be running down my face."
yeah, we just wanna, like, just looking at her just going, like, "It's okay, honey. I'm going to find you."
Yeah.
But the day the morning of,
Yeah.
'cause I knew we'd scheduled it, I was like, "I gotta take this dog up to Laurel Canyon. I gotta take her to the dog park. I want one last trip to the dog park." So I drive up to the dog park, and the gates were locked.
Oh
Like, the
no,
gate which I've never seen them locked before.
I haven't seen them look
And
for either.
I just burst into tears. I'm like, "I just wanna take her one last time." So, drive home, wait a couple hours for it to reopen, drive her because I'm like, "I am taking this dog to the dog park
One
one
last.
last time,"
Yeah.
and that specifically that particular dog park, and, and, so I wait a few hours, drive up, and the gates are open, and I'm able to get in, take her to the dog park, and, she was just so sort of tired and sick that she just wanted to lay there.
Mhm.
So I was like, "Okay, that's fine. You at least I got to take you here one last time, even if it's not a big play date." And then, took her to bed, and we said goodbye, and, I still have her and Sally's collars in my office next to their ashes.
Mm.
They're so maybe, I can't remember what the time was. I walk in so we have Sally now at our house now where
Mhm.
I live, and I walk in the living room, and Sally's there standing there staring at me, and standing in downward dog, and just now I'm like, "Oh, this is not good."
No.
I then found out that downward dogs are something that do a lot of time for stomach pain.
Yeah, it's
So
yeah.
I run her to the emergency vet. They do an
Yeah.
X-ray, and her stomach is riddled with cancer.
Mm.
Like, it's all a cancer, and
Yeah.
when I was like, "Oh, that's it. I'm not waiting another minute."
Yeah.
So we just made the decision, like, I'm not gonna be selfish and hang on to this dog.
Yeah.
You said goodbye pretty much the next day. And so now I had both our ashes, but Vancouver was so when we got up there to Vancouver, and you're there, and you know that amazing little the most expensive apartment in Vancouver we were living in, and the most expensive basement. But I chose
Oh
this
yeah.
little place
I
that
love it.
it was literally a 90-second walk to the stairs of the Vancouver Dog Beach.
Yeah. Yep.
So we spent hours there, and I would say that's where those dogs should regain their sort of puppyhood. And
Yeah.
I have videos of and this amazing picture of Sally in her little raincoat in the rain in Vancouver on that
I
beach.
remember. Yeah.
Times with where the girls like we'd go and we'd build forts on the dog beach and dog's place. So that I just knew that that's where I had to leave them. So it took
Yeah.
once they're both gone. I can't remember what year it was, but I went to the dog beach and I walked into the water up to my knees and spread part of both their ashes there. Which I can't I don't know about if you could do this, but I couldn't do all of them. I just did part of them because I
Mm.
couldn't give up entirely. So
Yeah. I can't even do a little bit, but mine is weird. I just had this conversation with someone. That's why we were getting emotional earlier because they were talking about how what a hard time they were having. Their dog passed like a year ago, but they were still having such a hard time. And anyway, so yeah, the ashes is it's a tough thing.
and I
So
still have their ashes, the remainder of their ashes in my
yeah.
office
Yeah.
next to their collars. And but a quarter of them is at the dog beach in Vancouver, which is important to
Mm, yeah.
um
I know
and
why. I know why that ties in. But
what am I
yeah.
saying?
So
But the
wait,
cra
so that was Betty and then Sally. Um, what season was it that Sally passed?
I can't remember.
Yeah. So Betty was first and then
First and
Sally
then
was
Sally
yeah.
was, maybe I wanna say like a year later?
Yeah.
Could be totally I can't do dates anymore. But,
Yeah. Yeah, they
interesting
weren't far apart. I remember that.
with that dog park, one of our friends we met there, our friend Jessica, who we affectionately still to this day, we all call Dog Park Girl. She's the reason we live in the house we live in now.
Mm,
And she became a very dear friend of Jensen, they became business partners in real estate. So, Jensen calls me one day, and, I remember I was in my trailer on Judging Image, this was 2000 and
mm,
something.
mhm,
Or Allison calls me and says, "I just talked to Jensen. Jessica found our house." So Jessica was in escrow on this house and, decided, it was too much it was gonna take too much to renovate it. So
mhm.
she's like, "I'm gonna let this fall out of escrow, and I'm gonna let you take over the escrow." 'Cause we were able to with Jensen's stuff, we were able to fix it up without
That's how you got your house you're in now?
yeah, it was an Ellen
Wow.
because,
That's
Jessica, my friend from the dog park, um, basically found the house and said, "I'm giving you this." I mean, I'm not giving it to you, but I've told the owner, good news, bad news. Bad news, I'm falling out. Good news, my friends are taking it over.
right.
So this is the house that Betty lived in and Sally for a while.
Yeah. So they
S
passed pretty close together.
Yeah, they pretty and I remember when
They're like a duo. They, like, did everything together, and now
yeah,
they
they really were. My 2 little ladies, Betty and Sally.
yeah, yeah.
And jumping forward to,
So
and still
how and I know how you met. I know who came next, and I know how but so when were you, like, ready again for a doggy?
well,
Because I can't
this
I have the time off too. I can't remember how long it was between
and
Sally and
it had been now years, years and
huh,
years.
that's what I thought, yeah.
And, we so one of the speaking of our relationship with dogs, like, one of the first things we really bonded over was Best Friends Animal Sanctuary, Animal
Yeah.
Society. And going I still remember going to that event, with where you saw Tristan. You're
Hmm?
beautiful. You're beautiful. I remember that event where you still had Tristan.
Oh
Our first
god, yeah.
first our first best friends event.
Yeah, I brought her
Yeah, you brought her that.
to that event. It was crazy. She did a red carpet with me. Oh, she was man, T was down for whatever. She was the
Show your
best.
wrist.
Yeah.
There it is.
There's her paw. Her paw. When she passed, God, why is this angle so weird? There we go. When yeah, and it was Kate. So Dan Miller, who's been on this podcast, who was our third, second, and first AD on Psych, who we love so much, and his wonderful wife Kate, who's a dear friend of mine, who you all have met through me, and we've talked about her so much. But she and Dan were visiting right around the time that Tristan was starting to. I mean, she lived for 2 more years, but starting to show signs that it wasn't going to be that long. And Kate helped me make the stamp of her paw. And then I
Mhm.
found a tattoo place that would let me bring her. Anyway, that's for a different day. So, but yes, I still had Tristan. So that was the first one we went to. The second one we went to was super adoption,
Yeah,
where
which
they
is
invited us to host a little. Yeah, like or go. Yeah, we did something there.
so even yeah, it had been out, but let's say it was for sake of argument, it was 2009. It was
Yep,
Jan
it was
because
okay.
I was going through because I couldn't sleep this morning thinking about the dogs. I was going through my thousands of pictures
Yeah.
of Lucy in my phone and found the day I met her. So we had sort of as a family said, "Okay, it's time. We need another being." And you and I both got asked to go to the super adoption for best friends down at Park La Brea,
Yeah.
and so I'd said to the girls very clearly, "So we're going to go do this. We're not getting a dog. We are just going to help the dogs." And it was Maggie and Tim on stage going, "And here's so and so from such and such shelter." And
I even
never
had instructions from Allison. It was like, we are not adopting a dog today. That is what's happening. Tim says that's not happening. Cut to. Hmm.
and it was all kill shelter. So all
Yeah.
these dogs they were all death row dogs.
Yeah.
Literally pull into the park the car before we get out of the car. Say to Lily and Nora again, who are now I'm realizing they're like 6 and 7, so they're little,
Mhm.
and so we are not getting a dog. We're here to help the dogs. Cut
Oh, I
to
remember.
yeah, so we go and you were there. You were there the day I met Lucy.
I was there. I
Now,
remember.
now
I have the most vivid memory, Tim, of coming over to you when I think Allison, somebody led me over. You were with her. You were with Lucy, but I remember it is so vivid to this day. I can remember I petting her. She had her bandana on, like a bandana on that said "Adopt Me," and you were kneeling down with her. It's just a very clear vision. That's all it is. But I remember it like it was yesterday, and you were like, "This is her," and I was like, "You are hilarious," and
oh no,
also
it
this
was
is so your dog. Yeah,
so I saw this dog. She was black dog. She looked like Betty and Sally, but she was all black.
yeah.
And I leaned down
It was
and
bigger. Yeah.
much like in my much like in my dog voice, I just said, "Who are you?" And somebody like from the shelter was or the Carson shelter was like, "Her name is Misty." I was like, "No, it's not.
Ha.
It's gonna be Misty for a minute." So I just we immediately like I met my soulmate
Yeah,
in Lucy, and
you did.
so we go to and Allison's already like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
So we go to like sort of the hangout area, and I sit down. I'll never forget. Sit down, crisscross applesauce, and she hops in my lap and
Mhm,
just like chills out. And I just remember thinking, there's so much chaos around us, all these dogs barking, and she's just staring in my eyes, like
mhm,
totally zen.
mhm.
And I look at Allison, I was like, Allison, this is a different because remember Allison's experience was the difficulty of Betty and Sally.
Sure.
And I was like,
And don't forget, you were gone half the year, so there
yeah.
was also gonna be that. Yeah.
And I was about to go back up. So this was whatever the month was. But it was just prior to me coming for another season of Psych.
Yeah.
And I just was like, honey, trust me, this is a different dog.
Yeah.
There's something with this dog. Like, so we sit and we chill and I'm just falling in love with her immediately. And it's lunchtime. The girls are hungry. So we walk around the corner too. This is how long it goes. There was still cuckoos around. So we go to Kookaroo.
Kookaroo, they're bringing Kookaroo back apparently.
Oh, they so we have lunch, and we're sitting there, and the girls immediately are in love, and they're like, "Can we get her?" And I'm like, "We're not getting the dog," and they start crying. I think I start crying, and Allison's like, "What are you doing, you asshole?
You're doing exactly what you told everybody not to
Ex
do.
You're not getting a dog. We're here to help the dogs."
Mhm.
So it's getting late. It's kind of wrapping, and we're walking back to the car, and I said, "Allison, you know what? Let's just stop back by that Carson area and see the dog again. Just have a quick chat.
Oh, this
Sit
famous
down
last
again."
word.
And again, the same thing. She's in my lap, and we are madly in love. And there was a young woman there who was also interested in the dog, in Lucy or Misty. And
Misty.
and she's like, "I don't know." She's like, "I don't know. My boyfriend wants another dog." They already had a dog, and she was going. I think she was going. She had a cancer diagnosis, so she was going through some health stuff.
Mhm, I
She's like,
remember
"It's
that.
not a great time for me to get a dog." And then my
Yeah,
boyfriend, but we both kind of like we just came to this agreement of like, we have to get this dog off death row.
yeah,
So this angel of a woman says, "Here's what I'm going to do. I'll take the dog. I'll foster the dog. Let me road test her for you, and let me, and then I'll talk to my boyfriend. And we'll see. But we just know today, one of us is taking this dog today to
yeah,
save this dog."
yeah.
So that's what happens. She takes the dog. She emails one of us, Allison or I, and just says, "This is the most chill dog I've ever had. She just wants to sit on the couch and cuddle. Like she's perfect." And I can't stop thinking about this dog. And Allison and I continue to keep having these conversations.
Mhm.
And again, I'm getting ready to leave for however many months to go to
6
Vancouver.
months, 7 months, yeah.
Yeah, and Allison's like, "Wait a second. You're leaving me with a 5 and a 6-year-old and disappearing. You son of a bitch." And every day I'm thinking about this dog. And when she was like, and I occasionally, like, I sort of tiptoe and bring it up, and she's like, "You're not letting me off the hook with you're not letting me off the hook with this freaking dog, are you?" When she goes there, she's like, "You know what? You are so selfish."
Hmm.
And, I just can't get this dog out of my head. And I go to and, we get an email from the woman and said who just said, "Okay, you need to make a decision soon because I'm taking a road trip for the weekend, and I'm gonna kinda road test on a road trip. But when I get back, I need to know." And I go to lunch that so now the clock is ticking. Allison's not budging. And I'm the typical 5-year-old who just met a puppy. He's like, "Mom, I swear I'll walk every day. I'll feed her."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Honey, hypothetically, if we get this dog, like, I'll get her trained. I will one of the conditions of her parole was I'll take her to Vancouver with me. I'll
Yeah, I
take her
remember.
there."
Yeah, I remember you said
So
that. I remember us talking about it.
I go and have lunch with my friend Michael. We're sitting there, he's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, and I said, "I fell in love with this dog." Saying, but I'm said, "Allison's right. I'm being selfish. I'm being an asshole."
Yeah,
Instead, "I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna tell Allison, you know what, honey? You're right. This is ridiculous. I can't leave you with 2 kids and a puppy. So I'm gonna go home and tell her it's off. She's right." I
right.
pull up into the driveway, walk to the front door opens, and and Lucy walks out. I think there was a balloon on her collar. So Allison, in the greatest act of selflessness, in the greatest act of selfless love, had been in cahoots with this woman, arranged the whole "Hey, I'm going out of town" email, and behind my back got this dog for me. And that was 2009.
And it made
And
me
and it was
cry.
just and
I
sure
re
and
I
so
remember this.
I I emailed Silva from Bautista from Best Friends
Mhm.
and said,
That's
"I need a dog trainer." So she recommended this great trainer. Trainer comes to
yeah.
my house and give me a shout out, David Blue, if he's
Oh,
still in
yeah.
business. Right.
I know him. Uh-huh.
And so and he has one meeting and it's like, train me to train this dog." And we have a first sort of session. He's like, "This is a really smart dog. This dog is so smart."
Mm.
And entirely trained. So I worked really, really hard with her training her.
Yeah.
And and cut to, she's my dog. She became my dog, and I trained
She
she was
became
she was
your
really highly trainable,
yeah,
and, started taking her and she, God, let me jump forward to the, so I started taking her to, Laurel Canyon Dog Park,
yeah,
where my greatest joy in the world was getting one of those chocolates and hucking a tennis ball as far as I
yeah.
possibly could, 100 yards away, and this dog would
She
just
loved that. Yeah,
she was a machine, like, she would just chase like, watching Lucy run for the ball was a thing of beauty,
yeah.
and I said
She
to my
could
vet
run.
and my
God.
my vet at the time said, "This dog is built to elongate and run."
Mhm.
She just became like a panther,
Mhm.
and, we were inseparable, and,
You were inseparable. And I have to add, like, oh,
please go ahead.
such a smart dog. No question. Lucy was this like the sweetest but very like powerful kind of all-seeing dog. She was so locked in on you and you her. You were so much more than dog and, like owner or dog and it was like two peas in a pod.
It
You
was,
all it was
yeah, she
crazy.
she just we were like she spoke English. I could literally just whisper to that dog a command, and she would do it. I could
Yeah.
say, "Go to bed," and she would get in her bed, and, so proceeded to, like I would drive her up with me every year for psych, but just prior to my first time taking her up, at Laurel Canyon, at the dog park, she broke her paw, or she fractured her paw, like, running like a maniac.
Yeah.
So suddenly, I've got a dog in a cast. I'm taking to a wet s and I'm thinking I'm gonna be in an apartment, she's gonna be making noise, not thinking that, of course, all those buildings are cement. And, so I've got this dog in a cast who still just was so chill, and, we were inseparable there, and I wanted a dog like you had, like, I wanted because I became that person who would then took her everywhere. It's
Yeah.
like, I want a dog that I can take to a cafe and she's gonna lay at my feet and be chill.
Yeah.
And that was
Uh-huh.
her,
Uh-huh.
and I took her everywhere, all around Vancouver, and then, I was joked that, she kept me out of bars because I can't go out partying all night, hanging out with my friends, not that I was doing that anyway, because I got a dog at home and I gotta get back to.
They're the best excuse. It's like what people with who I mean, at this point in my life, so many of my friends have kids, but it's always like, "Oh, I gotta get home to the kids," and I'm like, I use my dog for that too.
Yeah, but, in Vancouver, so she was my constant and, would, like, lay next to me every night, and I would we at one point had matching raincoats. I had this amazing green raincoat for her because I went to Vancouver, and I found my first Vancouver raincoat was this Gore-Tex one that I got at, Mountain Co-op, and it just happened to match hers, so we'd be out in the rain standing there looking looking like a gay couple.
You all were so cute. You all were adorable. Everything you did, I mean, yeah. Anyway, she became our other set family member.
And this is the thing, like, our psych cast, our psych crew,
Yeah.
Natasha, our scriptie, would
Hmm.
love her. So Natasha on lunch would take her for if I wasn't there, would take her, or if there was a break, she would walk Lucy.
Yeah.
And there were parts around the North Shore studios that, particularly there was one part where, there weren't a lot of trucks, so I could I could let her, and Lucy was great off leash. So, like, not a lot of dogs are. So she was off leash, she was still right next to me, followed my commands, and I would throw the tennis ball down this alleyway where there were no trucks around, and there was that wolf up in the woods? There was
Oh,
a dog
yeah.
There's a dog trainer
Yeah.
that had trained wolf.
That's right, that's right, that's right. Yeah.
She would go up and hang around by the wolf, but it was like that sort of alleyways where she would run. And then, if I couldn't, and I was still flying back home all the time, and I would, put her up at the Rex Hotel if I couldn't bring her home.
Mhm.
But she flew I would p put her on the plane a lot, and she was totally good, and she was so good under the plane in her crate.
Mhm.
And, I got a plane story about Betty. So we fly Betty up in her crate. I still every time I'm in the Vancouver in YVR in luggage claim, I can hear Betty barking where the large luggage is. 'Cause there's the area where they put the oversized luggage comes out, and it's dog crates and stuff, and
Yeah.
I the first time, like, we getting our luggage, and I hear Betty barking in her crate. I'm like, "There's Betty." So to this day, whenever I'm in that baggage claim, I can hear Betty's bark in her crate.
Yeah.
But, so Lucy was just amazing, and, if for some reason Rex wasn't I couldn't board
Mhm.
her,
Remember the Rex Hotel, yeah.
Garth Longmore would take her. So Garth became her
That's right, Garth.
so Garth would take her, and, one day she got skunked with Garth. And so Garth to this day would be like or when she was still alive, and he would see Sally, Betty, Lucy, sorry. He would still go, "Who's a good girl? You got the skunk. You got the skunk."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so Garth
no.
just my my psych family took care of her when I couldn't, and
Yeah,
on
they all
set,
they
I
did.
got this amazing photo of her sitting on like, how not a lot of places let you take a dog onto set.
Mhm,
And I've got this picture of her on the stages, sitting in my set chair,
mhm.
and just it was so she was as much of my Vancouver life as
Everyone knew Lucy,
everyone.
yeah, yeah, and we
And if
knew Tim with Lucy, like, it was like, you know, you if we saw you arrive at work or leave work or, take a break at work without Lucy, it was weird
yeah,
because you all were always together. Yeah. Remember when we were in Grants Pass? Remember when we,
we carried
carpooled
me back
home?
home.
Caravan, sorry, not carpooled, caravanned home, and from
With
Vancouver, me
Colin,
with
Rika.
who? That's right! Oh my god, I forgot about
Colin
that.
Ferguson?
Yeah, yeah, Colin Ferguson from Eureka. We stopped at a Kimpton?
No, we stopped at the Holiday Inn Express in Grants Pass.
Holiday Inn
Exhibit
Express, yes, next to that restaurant, that's
which was
right.
always my stopping point. Yeah, but then we did go to the restaurant. Okay, go ahead with the rest of
But
that
the
story.
but the but I remember because, like, Franck, you know, he'd like other dogs, he'd like other people occasionally. He wasn't really aggressive, but he just was very particular about who he liked. And oh my god, did he love Lucy. They one I was worried because I had never seen Franck, who is a tank, run. Like, Lucy was like, "Bet you can't catch me," and
Yeah,
then
'cause
Lucy took off
there's
in
that
that
big
parking
stretch of
lot.
grass.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, and she oh my god, and he just stayed with her. He would follow her and follow they played, and I was like, "I've never seen him do this with a dog before." It was really, really cool. Anyway, they were, uh they were
But the
very sweet. So but Lucy but Lucy I don't know why the Furbo is going off right now. The
the,
Furbo, if anyone yeah.
what is it? I don't know what a furbo is, but
A Furbo is a nanny cam for a dog,
oh,
and I
for
have one because I'm obsessed with it. I am obsessed
because
with the
you're such a
Furbo.
good mom.
Yes. Oh, and now he's getting up. He was sleeping so peacefully. My Furbo just woke him up. I'm not sure why. So I guess the Furbo's still on. But the Furbo's like a camera and it like you can from anywhere through an app like throw a treat to your dog while they're like so
So
I can watch him when I'm out or when I'm, like not with him and it's the best. Anyway, so I actually just ordered a mini Furbo camera on Prime Day because come here because, I wanna watch him
let
in
me
my
see that.
trailer now.
Let me see my nephew.
I have a
Of
problem.
course you
Here,
do.
he's gonna come up. He's gonna come up because he knows we're talking about dogs, but anyway, but then Lucy, though, went through psych with you, but also post psych with you.
I'm still on the psych angle. So, North Shore, I would always look at the schedule and see looking at the shooting day and saying, "Hey, buddy, I love you." Woo. Oh, you can't hear me because it's through your earbuds. Woo.
It's okay.
Hi, Linus. What did you do today? Did you go for a walk? Did you meet some friends? Basically, my dog voice is I talk to like any toddler I don't know. Any
Yeah.
Hi, how are you? What you what do you do in school today?
Yeah.
So I would always look at the shooting schedule the day before and see if I had perhaps had a chunk of time where I could take a hike. So behind North Shore Studios, like just literally across the street, there was
Mhm.
my favorite hike in Vancouver, which is the Seymour Nature Preserve. And
Mhm.
there's a river there, and I would take and so Lucy would swim in the river, and there was one particular spot where the water flowed in a way where I could throw the ball and it would come back to her, and it was like a conveyor belt where she could just paddle and wait for the ball to come in, and then for her to dry up, we'd sit on a rock and but we'd take this hike and it was just it's the most gorgeous hike ever to me,
Yeah.
which is my manifestation of I'm getting back to that hike, whether with the dog or with my dear friend Maggie.
Manifestation. Yes, magic of believing. So,
Mm.
okay, so yeah, you all would hike all the time. Stay here, buddy.
Oh,
Stay
and
here.
she would bolt, like, in the forest, like, bolt on this trail, and I could just literally call her, and she'd immediately come running back. But then every day, depending on where I was living, pretty much every day, we would walk to the or we would drive or I would take her to, the Gitano Dog Beach, where I discovered really I just first time I discovered she was a water dog. I'd never had a water dog before. There was a lab in
Mhm.
her. And again, I could throw a ball as far out in the ocean as possible, and she would go get it and come back. But then, I mean, the talk of the inseparableness. If I didn't, as you know this, if I didn't have time to fly home and I was in Vancouver for the weekend, I would always try and go fishing.
Yeah, that's right.
So
You would.
I would take her. She was my fishing buddy, and she
You
would
all
lay.
you
I mean, I've got pictures of her laying on these big, beautiful boulders in next to rivers and hanging out
She
with me while
loved
I'm.
it.
It was just, and there was a day where on a beach and the rivers there, specifically the Squamish is tidal, so it would rise and fall with the tide. And I had her tied up on this huge log hanging out, and I'm sitting there, and at one point I notice a beast across the river, which I didn't know if it was a bear. I think it was a wombat or I don't know what the fuck it was, but I see it coming towards me, and eventually it swims over, and now it's on the shore. And I've got my lunch on the ground, sort of near Lucy, and I'm
Mhm.
thinking, "Shit, this animal is coming between me and my dog, and
Yeah.
coming towards." So I immediately run and get her, and she's cool. But I mean, it wasn't just. I'm just kind of blathering because I'm just there's so much, just the flood of memories of hiking and fishing, and then driving back
Yeah.
and forth this dog
Yeah.
every.
So, I'll ask you what I ask everyone, which is how how did Lucy change your life?
God, that's how did she not? Just bringing me back to, I think, a childhood sense of joy and adventure, of that little boy
Mm,
who couldn't have a dog in the bed.
mhm.
And then in LA, when she was living here, we would hike Runyon Canyon, virtually every day, if not every other day. And then, my oldest daughter, Lily, and I would make that hike a lot, and sometimes nowhere to come, but a lot of times it was mostly, Lucy and I hiking, and I've got these photos of her on top of Runyon Canyon. That's why, and we talked about my recent last year's, trip back to getting back to that bench, and
Yeah. Yeah.
but and I said to Lily, actually I've got a photo of, like, I think it was literally 2 weeks before that thing that happened that was in all the papers.
Hmm?
I had a stroke, Maggie. She said, "Hey, just go, don't worry, I'm fine."
Yeah, I can't
But,
even
like,
tell.
it was thanks. It was yeah, so just the sense of adventure and hiking and finally having that dog that I wanted the dog that I could always travel with and hang out with, and that was her.
Mhm.
So, okay, now I'm getting to the less fun part.
The what?
Um, the less fun part.
Right.
Oh, so no, I'm gonna go back. So, I would drive to Vancouver, which I always had with me. I would always stop and see my parents, which was about 2 hours away in Seattle, 2 hours outside of Vancouver. And again, these are they went from being so now my parents they're in their now 70s at the time. I mean, they both passed on, but so they're older and they loved Lucy. And suddenly that no dogs in the house thing just went out the door because
Yeah.
and my mom loved she would just sit on the couch reading the paper and Lucy would just be right next to her. And they would say for some that I can't remember what, but my dad needed to sleep in my bed. I can't remember why. So I was like, "Well, it's okay if Lucy sleep?" He's like, "Sure." So the next day, like, "How was it?" And he loved it. And he said,
Aw.
She made a great backrest 'cause that Lucy would always sleep in the small of my back."
Wow. She
And
turned them into not only can they can she be in the house, she can be in the bed when they sleep.
yeah. So I just thought it was fascinating that here's this dog that suddenly made these 2 people of a generation
Mm.
again, there were no dogs in the house. She was so special that went out the window, and she was an in-house dog whenever she was there. But,
So that thing that happened in all the papers.
so then all the papers happened, which one of the I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but one of the most difficult parts of so I'm in the hospital and, I hadn't seen Lucy in a month, and I'm going nuts, and you know the story because you are the story.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
but
when
I also can't imagine to not see it's crazy. I mean, this is the other thing I was talking about with this person today about like this, you know, we're so close to them morning, noon, and night. So we miss people too when we don't see them. But when we can't see our dogs, like for an extended period of time, like our soul, it drains our soul.
so you
Anyway,
visit me at the hospital, and yeah, I mean, you're
yeah.
the
Well,
person else, like, "We've gotta get this." Will you tell the story?
no, I mean, I when I visited you in, I mean, one of the things I remember, Allison, when we were talking so much because you couldn't talk as much. And I remember her saying that you had kept asking for her, Lucy. And this was like even I think before you were transferred back to LA. But when
Yeah,
you were
that's good.
but when you were transferred back to LA, you were medevaced to a facility in Century City, if I remember. That was the first place.
Yeah, that was the
And
first hospital.
two things happened when I came to visit you that day. The first thing was you told me that Joel McHale had texted you multiple times a day, every single day, something insanely inappropriate
Yeah,
that would make
that's terrible.
your that would make you laugh, and that had become, I remember you handed me your phone and you said go to Joel's texts. And I think you had over 7,000, and I'm not kidding, text messages, not from Joel, from other people. And I was like, Tim, do you want me to, hey, buddy, let's not do that. Let's not lick. You have a sore. You have a sore. Sorry. He has a sore on his paw, and I'm trying to keep him from licking it so I don't have to put the cone
Oh,
on him. And I said, Tim, you've got all these messages. I was like, do you want me to read you some of these? And you were like, nope, just go to Joel's. And I was like, "You have 7,000 messages from other people." I told
well,
Jill that. I
also,
always tell Jill that
'cause
story.
I don't think I didn't have my glasses.
No, it was too much. Like, you were dealing with so much. Everyone understood.
They're fresh, massive
Um,
brain injury.
yeah, yeah. Everyone understood, Tim. Um, anyway, and the other thing you said was just, and it was the one time you got emotional while I was there. You were feeling a little better. You were in LA. You were getting visitors. You were brighter. But when you talked about Lucy, you were not okay. And that was the thing that was like, well, what's the problem? Because I know dogs are allowed in hospitals anyway. So Allison was like, I was like, what's the deal? How do we get Lucy here? Like I'll go pick her up. And Allison was like, it's just like service dogs only. And I was like, okay. I was like,
Did
"Doo,
you
doo,
not
doo,
know me?
doo." I went to a website, I bought her a vest, and it arrived, a couple days later, and then at least you got to see Lucy. I mean, my God, let the man see Lucy. Come on.
And this reunion was the most Nora Ephron
Mm,
romantic scene ever, and so I still it's my favorite picture of Lucy. All thanks to you, which obviously we'll put on the socials. It it's her in bed, like cradling each other,
literally.
like and her like we are kissing. We're like we're almost French kissing. It's just the most
Yeah.
beautiful reunion you can imagine, and it filled me with I just still it's the
Yeah.
greatest thing you've ever done for me.
Oh my God. Well, geez, that was not difficult, but I also understood. I know how I would feel if I couldn't see, you know, my dog, and also there are loopholes, and we found it, and you know, and Lucy was such a good dog. There are certain dogs I understand I wouldn't, take an aggressive dog to a hospital or anything like that. But Lucy needed her papa, and Papa needed to see Lucy. So we
Definitely.
were going to make that happen no matter what. But I also remember some stories about after you came home that
So
you were, yeah,
I transitioned out of that hospital into a halfway house for people with brain injuries,
right. That's right.
and there was my roommate actually had his mom had a dog that I just was so desperate to pet, but the dog was afraid of the wheelchair, so it would kill me to be around a dog but not be able to like pet or cuddle this dog.
Right. Right.
And so at one point it was well you were there. It was my I think my 40th birthday. We had a birthday party back at the house in the backyard, and it was time to take me back to the halfway house. And as I'm in the car in the driveway, and Lucy hops up on the
Right.
bench and watches me pull away, and it just broke my freaking heart.
Yeah.
But then shortly after that, I was able to actually move back home,
Yeah.
and which was amazing, gorgeous, but still really difficult because I was in such bad physical shape that like I wasn't walking at all, and but I could occasionally like we'd be in the backyard and I could still throw a bottle or a little bit, but I couldn't like bend over and pick up a ball.
Hmm.
And just my our bond was really suffered, and she was scared of the wheelchair, which broke my heart. But even like if she was laying on the bed and my left side was so like not good, like I couldn't cuddle this dog the way I used to. Remember one time I did try and I was like, screw it, I'm gonna try, and I leaned on my left side and got stuck and like almost fell off the bed until I finally, but it was worth it just to, like get one cuddle in. So it was difficult to be around Lucy in a way because like she didn't we didn't because I wasn't the one feeding her anymore. Allison was the one feeding her, and I just didn't have that same connection, which really hurt a lot. As much I loved still being able to see her and
Hmm.
be around her a little bit.
Hmm.
And then at that time, she started getting I mean, she was now I think at least 12, and that there was she was turning as gray as I am now. So that black muzzle went gray like me, and we knew something was up, and she was getting sick, and there was some we didn't know we never knew exactly what it was, but she had some kind of brain tumor, and
Mm-mm.
it was she was like so she was getting very old and feeble, and we knew her time was coming, and took her to the vet, and the vet didn't really know what it was or whatever was what to find out what it was would have been too severe of a surgery. So
Yeah. It's
we
always
all
a
kind
tough
of started making our
decision to
peace with the
make.
fact that like it's Lucy's days are now numbered,
Yeah.
and the this so if Betty and the dog park story got you, this one is even more important. So the girls are now young teenagers and totally attached to this dog,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
we all go. So okay, we're gonna take her for one last walk. This is the day before we sort of scheduled the day to say goodbye,
Yeah.
and we're like, let's take her for a walk. So we, as a family, we take her one walk, and she gets two houses down our block and stops.
Mhm.
Like she was done.
Mm.
She was
Mhm.
too old and done. And on the way
Mhm.
home, on the way back to the house, funny, I was watching this video this morning.
Mhm.
One of the things that really killed me is I wasn't because I was walking with a cane, barely walking with a cane. I couldn't walk my dog anymore because the dog used to hike and all over Vancouver with in the mountains, and I couldn't even walk her down the street.
Yeah.
So, I had just gotten to the point I was just starting to be able to walk without a cane. And I have this video, and I said, "Honey, give me the leash." So I was able to walk her like maybe 15 yards, and I'm like a feeble newborn fawn, and she's walking really slowly. At one point, she walked, and so I got to take her for one last walk.
Mhm.
And so I was watching the video this morning. After about halfway in front of our house, she stops, waits, and looks back and waits for me. And then we keep going. So I would just to this day, the fact that I got that one last walk in with this dog was
Yeah.
one of the greatest moments of my life. And we,
So you hadn't lost any of the connection. She fully understood what was going on, you
thank you.
know? She was just there for it, you know? She they're so smart. They can recognize. It doesn't mean you're not you're just connected in a different way. But, I really believe Lucy, it's gonna make me emotional, understood and also knew, you know, the limitations physically of, like, what your relationship could be at that point.
Mhm.
But I don't think her connection and understanding of you changed. I don't think it did, and this moment kind of totally proves that because she knew, to wait for you,
It was
and
sweet.
she
I'd never
also knew this was your last walk. I know she knew. She knew.
no, you're killing me.
No, 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 I don't mean to make it I don't
No,
mean to make it more emotional, but, like, I
no, it's
she understood the gravity of the situation as well, and gave that to you. I feel like I'm gonna get emotional too.
but I just funny because I
'Cause that was
never
her way of letting you know that she understood all of it, and before she left, she got to leave you with that, which was,
well, thank
like,
you.
she was the greatest. Lucy was the greatest.
It's funny because like I said, I was watching the video this morning because I woke up at 5 and called back because I knew we were gonna be talking about it today. And I'd
Yeah.
never really noticed that in the video before that she stopped and looked back at me. Thank you
Yeah.
for that, my friend. That was beautiful and really, helpful. Oh god. I think I was gonna cry. I didn't know I was gonna be
Um
this
No, 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 it's okay. Well, I mean, it's tough when we're talking about our doggies because, unless we're just talking about our current dog, there's usually a story attached. I mean, look at my story with Linus. How did Linus come to me? Well, I mean, it's one of the most
yeah, so incredibly
painful,
special.
brutal stories of yeah, like so um that's just how it is. But yeah, and sometimes it's funny, like we have these funny stories, but I think that I just think it's interesting because, like, these dogs, they go through now I'm gonna cry. They go through like, he's a part of this era with me, you know?
Ab
Like, Linus was like, "I'm jumping in for this part." Like,
yeah,
Peanut was like, "I'm gonna be here from this time to this time because that's when you're gonna need me." And Tristan was like, "I'm gonna be here from this time to this time because this is gonna be the era where you need." So I do see my life and listening to you talk, it just proves that kind of point, this, like, soul connection that we have with them, that they do show up. I also think they exit when they know. Like, I think about my dog Popcorn I had, who got out all the time. This dog got out all the time and he always came home. He was a stray. When we decided to move to Los Angeles after 7 years of having Popcorn, and he wasn't old, like, he was coming with us. He got out one last time, and when he got out that last time, he got hit by a car, and I know that's, like, an unforeseen, it's not like he chose to go away, it's not like he chose to get hit by a
it was
car, but
just prior to you leaving for LA?
like, right before.
Oh
And
my
I
god.
and I have always believed that it was his way of being like, this
Mm.
is how far I was going with you. Like, I don't think that it was supposed to be a different story. I think it was always supposed to be that, like, so anyway, my point of this is, like, you know, I feel like they show up in these eras, and Lucy was to be your dog through this era
Yeah,
of time in your life that changed your life forever. I
yeah,
mean,
about
and your families, you
what
know?
you just said the last time we talked in our little mini tag about this job being this new,
Yeah. The
and I
turning of a
said
page.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
said, yesterday in that text, it was like, being it was your first day at work, like, "This isn't the new chapter, this is the your new volume."
Yeah, thank you. It
And
is
Lu
it is
and
a new
Linus
volume. It is
yeah,
an
and Linus
it is
Lin
the second half of my life beginning. I believe that.
yeah, Linus
An
is here
era
for
has ended. Yes, and Linus showed up and was like, "Guess what?
yeah,
I'm a
I'm
part of this era." Yeah. So,
you know what, you're
and
so right, and I hadn't thought about this 'cause, I love that so much, what you just said about they leave when it's their time for them to leave.
they know they leave, and some are short stories, but the I think we can all look I do believe it's just like when like, you couldn't stop thinking about Lucy. You couldn't you knew Betty was your first dog with Allison, like, they show up they exit the same way they kinda show up, where it's like, you just know. Well, I
Yeah,
think sometimes they're also, and I understand that, I mean, I'm not gonna, like, say obviously, we don't wish illness, we don't wish any of these things. I don't know why it goes the way that it goes, but I do feel this, like, really, I mean, my life, I just had this conversation with someone, I feel like has it could be told in dog eras,
yeah,
like, legitimate, like,
same.
Snooky to Popcorn to Rocky, and my childhood dogs to, like,
Millie?
Tristan, Franck, Millie. I mean, Millie, and then, yeah, like Tristan, Franck, and Peanut, and even the dogs I had when I was married, like, they're just it's really fascinating. Anyway, so
There was
I
a
I
moment,
say Mhm,
when I came home and my, occupational therapist came on, or just part of my transition to getting back home. My occupational therapist did, like, a home visit to see, like, what the danger spots were, and they said they
mm,
couldn't find I was in the back, I was in the master bathroom in my wheelchair, and Lucy was on my lap. It was like one of the few there's a couple times, like, a couple pictures of her on my lap in
mhm,
the wheelchair, which is what was rare,
mhm,
but I'm so, taken with what you said about them exiting at the time. So when it was Lucy's time, and we kinda made that decided as a family, and our, um our vet, who I became pretty close with, came and she said, she's like, "Just so you know, this is" I think she said this, that was, like, the 3rd time in 20 years of doing this that I've actually done this. Being a vet, that I've come for a home visit to,
mhm,
say goodbye to a dog, and she goes, "And I did that to honor you," and because she knew our relationship,
mm,
because she knew how because she saw the vet visits and how Lucy would just be in my lap the entire time.
yeah,
And she just said, "I'm doing this to honor your relationship with her," and we just talked about that, our relationship, and she said something which I still take to this day, that, she's the, daughter of Holocaust survivors, and she said, "Your relationship, is beshert,"
for
which is that
sure.
Yiddish word for meant to be.
It's meant to be, yeah.
And so, as, they were prepping Lucy, and, like, Lucy knew I was getting better, and I was able to actually, like, get down on the floor
Mm,
and, cross my legs, and she was able to sit in my lap.
mhm,
And so for me, even still to that, to be able to get on the floor is called a floor recovery. To get up off the floor is pretty difficult when you're partially paralyzed. And so I was well enough to be able to on the floor, lean against the couch, and have her in my lap, and just talking in. And the photos from that day prior of just me, like, basically laying in her dog bed with her, and
mhm.
nuzzling her. But the girls were all there, and we had this moment the night before because Lucy had this crazy chicken allergy. Like, she just had a skin condition. So I would
Yeah.
even prior to, like, remember the first trips before I would drive out to Vancouver, having to, like, drive out to, like, Duarte to find a place
Food for her. Uh-huh.
that had, kangaroo kibble.
Mhm.
So I always had to feed her a special diet. So she was allergic to chicken, and the girl Nora actually came up with a song of "Give her the chicken, give her the chicken." So the night before she had this
Give
great
her the
last
chicken.
she got the chicken. Then let me see if I can find this
Well,
one.
you'll send it to me so we can put it in the social post.
Right, okay, yes, but no, then Lily sang a song the next day, which I have a recording of, which it was just gorgeous, and I'll find that so you can maybe cut it in.
Everything is terrible, terrible, terrible. Everything is terrible. Hee hoo hoo.
True that.
So we said goodbye to her, and in my lap in the living room, and I don't know if I want to tell the whole Ashes story right now,
Okay.
and I can. I just it's such
No,
a big.
it's no, I think because what I actually think we should do, because I was gonna wrap up by saying, and let's save ashes to Mabel for the next one.
I
How's
was gonna
that?
say I don't want to dive into Mabel today because it's too big, and but
No, no, no. That needs its own episode. But I mean, we should do that. Is this
yeah,
the episode? Yeah. Okay.
I was gonna say I would love to. In fact, I think I texted you the other day and said thinking about actually not even the other day, like months ago, knowing that I was gonna at some point be on unconditional, and
Yeah.
say I think this is a 2 episode like this
Yeah.
because you can't have Mabel without telling. I can't talk about Mabel without talk about the Lucy story.
No, and the Lucy passing story. But this is what I was gonna say. I believe that Lucy waited for you to I think she was a part of being like, you will be able to crawl into bed with me. You will be down here on the floor with me again. You will be okay. You will be on a cane. You will be out of this wheelchair. And I'm going to be here. I'm going to hold on to see that moment. And I think that's what she did. She got you there. And then she was like, this is where I part, and there'll be another. Oh, sorry, Tim. I didn't mean to make you cry.
You're killing me. I think
No, so but I'm just saying that's where we're gonna stop this episode, because I know it's like it's so emotional. It's so emotional for both of us, but I didn't mean for it to be this emotional. I just was like,
it's
yeah,
beautiful. It's beautiful, and you're absolutely right.
yeah.
You're absolutely right. I
She
hadn't thought,
yeah.
and I thank you for giving me that perspective. I hadn't thought of it that way before, but you're absolutely right. It makes it almost more special.
So that's what I mean. You were as connected to her. It was just different. And she saw and knew everything that was going on, which is why she was like, we're gonna get you here, and I'm gonna be here for that. And then that's where I go. And then you'll have the next. So this is to be continued, dot, dot, dot. And then we'll tell the because it's so rich, the post Lucy and journey to Mabel is so good.
Yes, and thank you for allowing me the double episode to tell the story of
Yeah,
these beings that I am
yeah,
still so connected with and love so much.
yeah. And I thank you for being so open and making me cry. And sharing so much. I know it's emotional, but like it's
Well,
really interesting, Tim, because like we've gone there a little bit on this pod, but like I actually thought there would be like grief has we've not really like, jumped in and to the grief pool that much yet. And I'm kind of glad we're talking about it, because it's weird. It's very odd. It's very strange. I just had this conversation this morning with the first AD who's doing it. We have rotating first ADs who he's doing our next episode. And I just wanted to like go over, I saw him and I was like, let's go over or I talked to him. I said, let's go over the schedule. And then he I was like, yeah, I need to figure out which days I'm bringing Linus, and maybe which days I don't bring Linus, and he was like, oh, I totally get it. He said, but my dog Maggie passed away a year ago. His dog's name was Maggie, and that's how we got on the whole story. That's why I just had this conversation, and we were in tears by the time we had it after. Like we were like, what is happening? I was like, I have makeup on. No, but anyway, so yeah, because well, I won't share his story. That's his. It's private, but it was Yeah, we all feel it. It's a deep grief. And it stays with us because they stay with us. I still feel
And
Peanut all the time. Tim, I looked down during our episode and my phone said 5:55,
that was
which is which was Peanut's number. And I was like, oh, hello, there she is. Okay, so
well, before
I
before we totally go off, I just wanna say, thank you for this, and I love you,
yeah
and thank you for being such an integral part of my dogs' lives.
yeah of course. Oh my God, there are there are babies.
I
Linus is
mean,
staring
it
at me.
really, like, if you think about it, and I do think about this stuff, it's like, if you're in my life, are you really my life? Only if you're part of my dogs' lives.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's how much you're in my life because you had a connection with all my dogs.
yeah.
Even back to the OG Betty and Sally.
OG Betty, Sally, Tristan, Frank. We've seen them all. We've seen them all. Tim, thank you so much for this episode, for being so open, telling the stories of your dogs, how they've changed your life. And this is just part one of two, and we'll tell the rest of the stories very
Well,
soon.
I mean, thank you, because I haven't really, thought about I haven't gone this deep in my memories for a long time, so thank you. This is really therapeutic and lovely.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I'm sorry it was so emotional and heavy.
No, it's good. It's good emotion.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
It
It's
means
good.
just that's how important it was.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they say that the pain is it's so the grief is it's so hard because the love is so big. So, all right. Thank you, Tim. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Unconditional, this very emotional episode of Unconditional. Oh my goodness. And reliving so many wonderful stories from the psych days and on, and more to come. Please follow us at Unconditional Pod. Check out our YouTube. And thank you all so much for listening.